All right, folks. Today will be kind of the last day for quiz. So we're just going to kind of review a couple of things and then go into what ambiguous can really mean when dealing with triangles. The first thing is when we've dealt with law of cosines, we've had a couple of sides, either all the sides or two sides at an angle, and we kind of work backwards to find the other angles, or just use this to just help us out and find that other side, or whatever it is. So law of cosines, we really just deal with line or with sides, and so we got side, 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 angle, side. Hopefully you remember some of that from geometry. Um, Sorry, law of cosines. My bad. I'm ahead of myself. Law of sines we use when we had more angles and sides. So if we had two angles and a side, we'd use the sine of the angle over the side of the triangle, equaling another sine of a different angle over a different side of a triangle. And that can help us get either a side or an angle, as long as we got three of the pieces. Any of the three would work. So, and we just find that other one. But what happens with angle side side? In geometry, you were told several times over again that you can't use the ASS theorem to prove congruency or to even prove similarity because there are a lot of options for what the triangle could look like. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a triangle here, and obviously this is not to scale. We're going to say, A, B, and C, yada, yada, yada. We know angle A is 55 degrees. Sorry, that's C, not L. We know side A is 7, side B is 25. So I'm going to use the law of sines here. So I'm going to say sine of 55 degrees over 7 is equal to the sine of, we don't know, B over 25. Cross multiply and divide, do all that fun stuff. I get 25 times sine of 55 equals 7 times sine of B. Then I'm going to end up dividing both sides. I use different colors so we can see the steps. Divide by 7, divide by 7. And so I'm going to get B to be, let's see here, there we go, here's my word. Sine of B is going to be 2.925-ish. And so to get the angle, if we recall, we're going to have to do the inverse sine. So I'm going to do the inverse sine of 2.925. And when we do that, we get an error, which means our triangle, maybe you got it, does not exist, D&E. The reason why is really what probably our triangle looks like. It looks something like this, and then just comes down like that. And so, because this part would be 7, it's not long enough. So that's why it does not exist. Sorry, it kind of looks like done. It does not exist. The other reason why is that if you think about it on our unit circle, the lowest point is -1, the highest point is 1, and sine's got to be anywhere between -1 and 1, so it's defined. It gives us an angle. Well, sine's not defined for 2.925, so that's another reason why it doesn't work. Let's move on to example 2. Draw our triangle again. Got a couple of different numbers here this time. A and B and C. A is still 25, but B this time, well, that's still 25, but A in this case is 27. So we can do the same steps, here. So sine of 55 over 27 equals sine of don't know it over 25. So now when we cross multiply, divide, do all that fun stuff, we get that and we do the second sine inverse of all that, we get 49 degrees. But we got to double check here. So we know that reference angle, we're talking about reference angles now, that's 49 degrees. But there's another angle that's positive that also has a reference angle of 49 degrees. And so this is what we got to double check here. So how big is this angle? Well, I'm going to do 180 minus 49, and I get 131. So that means my two options are either 131 or 49. This is kind of where the whole ambiguous title comes from. Well, if it was 49, that would be 55, and that could add up to something that would make it a triangle. So I think we're good on 49. But if it was 131 and 55, or 186, that leaves no room for sad little angle C. So that means 131 is out. All right. So that means that we only have one triangle or one option in this case. So it's not quite as ambiguous now that we got it narrowed down. It's not 131. So we got 55 and 49, so that helps me figure out that my other angle is 76, I think. And then we could figure out what C is by doing, maybe the law of sines. So sine of 76 over, I don't know it, and then sine of 55 over 27. Cross multiply and divide, and we get 32. And then, whenever we're trying to find the side of something, be sure that we are um, not doing the inverse. We're just doing straight up normal sine. And the last one, number 3. So we had 0, or does not exist. We had 1. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that we got 2 triangles here for this one. We got 2 cases. So A, B, C, A, B, C. A little different numbers this time. We got 30 and 30. A is 10 and then 10, and B is 16 and 16. So what we're going to find by doing this is that B kind of has a couple different options. So I got sine of 30 over 10 is equal to sine of B over, where am I? Sine of B over 16. There you go. So when we do that, we're going to have 2 different options. So we do all the manipulation, all that stuff, and we get that the measure of angle B is 53. So that means our one option is 53. But when we talk about the reference angles, well, this could be 53, and then this one also could be 53. So I'm going to do 180 minus 53, and I get 137. No, sorry, 127, my bad. So that means that this guy is 127. Well, 127 plus 30, that actually is okay. So that would mean that's 157. That would mean this one is 23 degrees. This would mean that one's 97 degrees. I have 2 triangles that exist. This is why we cannot do angle side side because they're not congruent, right? 2 of the angles are not congruent. 2 sides are, but that means that this third side, C, is not going to work at all. And so you can do law of sines again. I think this is going to get you around 20, and this one will get you around 8. And as far as rounding and stuff goes, wherever the homework says, we'll just default to that. When we're dealing with angles, you can just round to the nearest angle for now until told elsewise. That's kind of it. I kind of went through this step quickly. Just be sure that we cross multiply and do second sine of that, and you get 50. You get 52, I think, 0.9 something, but round it to 53. And then the biggest thing is that when we're doing this ambiguous thing, we got 2 angles, 53, and then we do 180 minus 52 to get that other one. Good luck. See you tomorrow.